All right, in this video, I continue section 7.5, solving trigonometric equations. And in this case, we are gonna, in this video, we are gonna use trigonometric identities to solve equations, okay? And we have seen a couple different trigonometric identities so far, right? Okay, let's look at this example. Solve tangent theta is equal to 2 sine theta in the interval. First of all, I can rewrite tangent with respect to sine and cosine, right? So sine theta over cosine theta is equal to 2 sine theta. Let me move this 2 tan theta to the other side. Sine theta over cosine theta minus 2 sine theta is equal to 0. Now I can factor out sine theta, right? Sine theta 1 minus cosine theta minus 2 is equal to 0. Great. I have multiplication of two expressions equal to 0, which means each expression equal to 0, right? So I can take each expression equal to 0. So from there I can get sine theta is equal to 0, and 1 over cosine theta minus 2 is equal to 0. So from the first fact, sine theta is equal to 0. Which angle is that? Remember, on the unit circle, sine is y value. I have to have y is equal to 0. So it's here and there, right? Here and there, y is equal to 0. So theta is 0 and 180. Okay, this is the solutions we get from the first part. And what about the second part? 1 over cosine theta minus 2 is equal to 0. So let's solve this guy. 1 over cosine theta is equal to 2. I am adding 2 into both sides. And let's cross multiply. 2 cosine theta is equal to 1. Cosine theta is equal to 1/2. Okay. And this is possible that cosine can be between 1 and -1. So we have some solutions coming from this part as well. So how can we find those solutions? This is a special angle, right? Cosine is equal to 1/2. I remember this angle. This is a special triangle. Cosine is 1/2. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, right? This is 30, 90, 60 triangles, right? 1, 2, root 3. I did it intentionally because cosine should be adjacent over hypotenuse. So 1 over 2, great. So from there I get theta is equal to 60 degrees, okay? And if it is sine and cosine, there is another angle which gives the same cosine value, right? As we did in the previous videos. And this is a positive value, right? Cosine is 1/2 positive. And cosine is also positive in the fourth quadrant. So I gotta find another angle in the fourth quadrant. To do so, I just need to find the symmetry of this point through the x-axis. And it makes sense to use the x-axis because on the unit circle, remember cosine, x coordinate gives the cosine. So this also has the same cosine value 1/2. But which angle is that? I should start from x-axis and come all the way down here, right? And this part is 60. So the remaining is then 300. Okay. So we got 2 solutions from there and 2 solutions from there. And these are all solutions on this interval, right, between 0 and 2 pi. Okay. I hope it's clear for everyone. Let's move to the next example. Okay, wait a minute. So what can we do here? We have cosine and sine squared, right? If I could write sine squared with respect to cosine, it would be great, right? I will get only one unknown. And I know that our most famous identity, right, trig identity, sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1. So from there I get sine squared is equal to 1 minus cosine squared. Nice. So I can just plug it in here, right? So 2 times 1 minus cosine squared is equal to 3 times 1 minus cosine. Now let me FOIL everything, distribute 2 minus 2 cosine squared theta equals 3 minus 3 cosine theta. Let me collect everything in one side. Maybe I can move left hand side to the right hand side. So 0 is equal to 2 cosine squared theta. I am adding 2 cosine squared theta to both sides and subtracting 2 from both sides. Negative 3 cosine theta. And 3 minus 2 will be plus 1. Cool. I got a quadratic equation I can factor, I hope. If not, I can use quadratic formula, right? Always. So can I factor this guy? I hope I can. Yeah, I can. 2 cosine theta, cosine theta. And I can factor 1 as minus 1 and minus 1, right? And when you multiply, when you fold everything, it will be 2 cosine, another 1 cosine, minus cosine, so it will be minus 3 cosine. Okay, is equal to 0. So from there I get 2 cosine theta minus 1 is equal to 0. So 2 cosine theta is 1. Cosine theta is 1/2. Cool. And I have also this part, right? Maybe I can write that part here. Cosine theta minus 1 is equal to 0. Cosine theta is equal to 1. Okay, cool. So cosine theta is equal to 1/2. What are the theta values? We have already done that in the previous example, right? Here. Cosine theta is equal to 1/2. Theta is 60 and 300. So from there I get theta is equal to 60 degrees and 300 degrees. And from there cosine is equal to 1. Which quadrant is that? Okay, remember the unit circle. Cosine is the x value. So which x? X is 1 only here, right? Which angle is that? 0, right? So theta is equal to 0. So we get 3 solutions. 0, 360, and 300. Okay? I hope you'll like it. Let me continue to the next one. Yeah, let me just show you one more time if you couldn't see it. Okay, now let's look at this one. Sine 2 theta equals cosine theta. There's sine 2 theta, right? And I know how to write sine 2 theta. So sine 2 theta is equal to 2 sine theta cosine theta, right? This is sine 2 theta times sine theta is equal to cosine theta. So I can move that cosine theta. By the way, you may think you can simplify cosine theta, right? But if you simplify some cosine theta, you will lose some solutions, okay? So don't do that in this type of problems. So try to collect all the terms in one side. So to do so, let me move that cosine to the left, okay? And first of all, I can group this 2 sine, right? So it will be 2 sine squared theta cosine theta minus cosine theta is equal to 0. And I can now factor out cosine theta. Cosine theta 2 sine squared theta minus 1 is equal to 0. Cool. Now each factor should be equal to 0, right? Cosine is equal to 0 and 2 sine squared minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay. 2 sine squared theta minus 1 is equal to 0. From there I get, from the previous example, theta is equal to 0 degrees, right? Okay. Let's look at this case. 2 sine squared minus 1 is equal to 0. So 2 sine squared is equal to 1. Sine squared is equal to 1/2. So sine is equal to, don't forget this part, plus or minus 1 over root 2, right? Which angle is that? This is special angle, right? This is special triangle. This is 45, 45, 90. Yay. 1 root 2, right? So sine 45, okay, maybe I can separate these cases. There are 2 solutions here, right? Let me first work on sine is equal to 1 over root 2, okay? Sine is equal to 1 over root 2 when theta is equal to 45. And again, other angle that gives the same sign is this angle, which is 145, right? Okay, these are the other solutions, but we are not done yet. So we can also take sine is equal to negative 1 over root 2. And to get that, where should we look at? We should look at this triangle, right? Okay. This triangle. It is negative 1, 1, and root 2, right? So this angle sine is negative 1 over root 2. But to get the other angle that gives the same sign, I should get this, right? And a symmetry. And I should get this angle. So from there I get theta is equal, okay, these are 45, 45, right? So this whole angle will be then 180 plus 45, which is 225. And the last angle is, oh, sorry. Let me take, undo. Okay. To get the last angle, I can take this as negative 45, but negative 45 is not in this interval, right? So I have to look at the angle. Okay, I did the same mistake. So I should start from the x-axis and come all the way through this point to get that angle. And this is actually 360 minus 45, right? Because this part is 45, so which is 315 degrees. Right? So we get 5 solutions here for this equation, all right? By the way, if you could simplify cosine theta at the beginning, you would be losing this solution, right? So don't do that, okay? Anyway, yeah, let me stop here for this video. In the next video, I will do one more type of trig equations, and we are gonna done with this section, okay? Yeah, see you in the next video.